All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Friendly Wager. This is the place where betting leads to bonding. I'm one of the hosts, Gator, joined by KOB, Keat on the beat, and back with us for another week, the one and only, the Total Package. Guys, what's going on this week? How you doing? Package, you were out of town. How was your weekend?
Absolutely wonderful until Sunday night. Great trip to Alabama last week. Little golf tournament with some members. Big time. And I tell you what, we were styling and profiling until Sunday evening when the old Dallas Cowboys traveled to San Francisco. And I had a couple cocktails and decided to lay the lumber on Dak Prescott. Crash and burn, Gator. Crash and burn.
It happens to the best of us. KOB, how was your weekend?
It was solid. I thought you were going to preface the conversation with how was your past month package, but I guess the past weekend helps too. I mean, we haven't seen him in so long. It was a mediocre weekend, mediocre for gambling. I probably lost a couple units, but it comes and goes. And we'll look forward to this upcoming weekend. Take some of that money.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's one of those weeks we talked the last week. Once you have one of those epic weekends that you kind of dream of, you're going to come back down to reality. I had kind of the same.
It's tough to follow a 62. Everybody knows it's tough to follow when you shoot 62.
That is true, and it's one of those ones too, right? Where you're sitting there looking at it, and I knew coming into this, it was one of those weekends where the public won, and if the public wins, I'm usually in trouble because I tried to fade them. I believe I lost 1 or 2 units for the weekend, so nothing crazy for what could have been really bad. The Monday night under came back and saved me for sure.
Yeah, well, when you say when the public wins, I just have a quick stat. 44, 27, and 3, the public is ahead, hitting at a 62% rate through 5 weeks. That is the best start for the public since 2005. So, hey, just pat ourselves on the back. We swept it last week. It's about to turn our way, so look out.
Keep dealing stats. I love it.
No, for sure. Well, let's go ahead and jump into a little bit of baseball here. We're just going to kind of touch on our hometown Houston Astros, who currently lead the series 2-1 over the Minnesota Twins here. I know they're currently playing right now, but if we go game 1, Verlander had a dominant outing, going 6 innings, getting up 4 hits, 6 strikeouts, no earned runs. Valdez came in, struggled a little bit, giving up 5 runs in 4 1/3 innings of work. And then we had Javier come in game 3, giving up 1 hit, 0 runs, and 5 innings of work. And the bats have awoken across the lineup. It looks scary. Package, you're kind of our baseball guy out of the 3 of us here. What are you thinking about the Astros and what we're seeing so far in this game right now tonight?
We're hanging on 3-2. If we can get out of this with a victory, vanquish the Twins and Carlos Correa, it would set us up beautifully going into the series with the Texas Rangers, where Verlander could pitch game 1. If we come back, get beat tonight, Verlander's got to come back at home in a game 5 situation where anything can happen. We hadn't been the best home team here over the last 60 days. So let's get it done tonight and bring on the old Texas Rangers.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. KOB, you have anything to add on the Astros and kind of what you're seeing and what you're looking forward to during this series?
Oh, for sure. The pitching, I think we know, is going to be dominant. We have a great bullpen. The question mark is our bats, and they are getting steamy in October, and we love it. The one person I think is making a game changer for that roster is Abreu.
Yeah.
With all the home runs he's
I thought you were going to say Maldonado. You're Abreu. Okay.
Well, hey, he had 2 hits last night, so hey, easy on him, all right?
He did.
But yeah, you put Abreu and Alvarez together, they have 14 of the 20 RBIs against the Twins in this series. And so a little bit of help to them, and look out. We can score runs. There's no question about that. So can our bullpen hold up? I think I like our chances.
Yeah, no, definitely. And looking at the lineup too, like we were joking around about Maldonado though, right? Like you have 8 bats in this lineup that any given night can get hot. And then when they start getting, 5 or 6 of those guys, watch out, the runs are going. I know Keat and I were talking about they hit the over in the first 3 games in the run total there as well. So definitely something to look forward to with Abreu's bat getting hot finally at the right time. It's
Trying to
looking
go to
good.
7. This would be 7. If we win tonight, 7 straight ALCS appearances, which is pretty wild if you think about it.
Absolutely, especially being a Astros fan, growing up to have this type of run is something to definitely be proud of. And anytime you don't have the Yankees there, it's always a good time being an Astros fan too.
Nobody's beating on trash cans either.
Oh yeah, no. All right, let's go ahead and move into a little NCAA Week 6 recap, and let's go ahead and start it off with the game of the week in my eyes, which was the old Red River rivalry, Texas versus Oklahoma, where Oklahoma comes out and beats the Texas Longhorns 34-30. OU covers the 6-point spread and the over of 62 points. I think this was a game that everybody was kind of looking forward to. Package. Quinn Ewers comes out early with a couple of interceptions, has a fumble in the game, has 3 turnovers. But if you look at his stat line, other than those turnovers, he still had a decent game, only had 6 incompletions for 346 yards. Texans had the ground attack going. And then, OU's Dillion Gabriel going 23 of 38, 285 and a touchdown. Package, what stood out to you in this game, and what does the future look like for both of these teams moving forward with college football playoffs?
They're going to meet again. They're going to play again here in a couple of months in the Big 12 championship game. There's no divisions anymore, which is great. So we'll see Texas and Oklahoma down the road. I think Texas is definitely going to run the table. OU, even if they slip up and have one loss, they'll still be in the title game. And Texas is going to just mop the floor with them when they come back. They played a horrendously bad game. They didn't show up. Quinn Ewers, look, we've talked about Quinn. The reason his stat line looks so pretty, he doesn't make any tough throws.
Yeah.
If there's a guy wide open, KOB could have completed a couple of those. I like Quinn. I think he has command of the offense. He's done a lot of offseason work. I'm a fan of Quinn Ewers. But until he can drop back and zip one over the middle into coverage and not throw picks, that's the next level for the Texas Longhorns. And he didn't I felt like he cost him the ball game. I get his stat line looked pretty in the middle, but I think those turnovers cost him the game.
Oh, yeah, it definitely did. KOB, what was your take on the game? What stood out for you?
Yeah, I mean, Package said it the best, but Texas, when they meet again, they need to limit those turnovers. You see Oklahoma had 0 turnovers besides the block punt in the end zone, but Texas had 3 turnovers. And so the Oklahoma's defensive line looked a little bit stronger than Texas' offensive line. They got to him about 5 times, 5 sacks. And so Quinn Ewers was rushed a little bit, and you noticed that with interceptions. He tried to get the ball out too quick with some pressure on him. And so maybe the offensive line can hold him back just a touch. Big 12 championship game. I like Texas. They definitely have a better roster. You could just tell they stayed in that game amongst all those turnovers. So I'm looking forward to the end of the season, Texas versus OU.
Quick question for the friendly wager here. If you're the head coach and you believe in your quarterback, if you're Andy Reid with Pat Mahomes for an example, an analogy, do you run a dive play on 3rd and 5 at the end of the ball game when a first down, you control everything? Do you run a halfback dive? Do you think they're going to give it to Isaiah Pacheco on 3rd and 5 for the Chiefs? Absolutely not. They're going to throw the football and they're going to put it in their quarterback's hands to make a play. And I'm telling you, as much as Sark says Ewers is the man, I just don't know what his belief in Quinn actually is.
Yeah, no, we go back to, we talk about the 2 interceptions and the fumble that Ewers had. And, also they had a chance to go down and score, was it 1st and goal on the 2?
It was 1st and goal.
Yeah, 1st and goal on the 2, and you're sitting there looking at it. And I was a fan of the first run play. I would have liked to probably see like a little play action, some type of bootleg action on the 2nd down, and then maybe try to run for it again on the 3rd. But not getting that touchdown there was, when that happened, that's when I was worried. And then being able to drive back down the field though and get the field goal, and I thought it was over, kind of happy, right? Less than a minute left, and there they go, right back down the field. And it wasn't like they had to kick a field goal to win the game; they had to get a touchdown, and they did it. And that's with 40 seconds left and no timeouts. It was amazing.
It was jarring. It was jarring when they scored. It's like, this didn't happen. And it felt like a little bit dreamy to me. They're going to kick a field goal. We're going to OT. And that's how it was going to, that's where we were heading.
Right.
And for them to score a touchdown drive at that, 80 yards
in 5 plays.
Minute,
5 plays. It was crazy.
Woo.
Yeah.
That was crazy. But look, everything's ahead of the Texas Longhorns. They looking at their schedule, unless they just absolutely lay an egg, they're going to win out. And all their goals are right in front of them.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And the Red River Rivalry never upsets. It was just another great game to sit there and watch for sure. Let's jump forward to USC Arizona here. USC squeaks by 44-41. That line was minus 21 in the over at 69.5. USC's defense continues to be a liability here, KOB. Will the defense be the reason why they won't make the college playoffs or be our Pac-12 champions? What do you have to say?
Yeah, I mean, it's just blatant obvious, right? They've given up 41 to Colorado, 28 to Arizona State, 28 to San Jose State. Then they played Nevada and Stanford, which are no-namers, right? And, their defense does not look good. They have Notre Dame coming up this week. Notre Dame has a very solid defense. So, hey, we get to see what Caleb Williams and that offense is all about because they've had no issue scoring points. So I'm curious to see Saturday how Caleb Williams reacts to that defense. And, hey, can USC actually stop Notre Dame?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And it's one of those ones where you start looking at the USC line with how bad this defense is. I mean, I don't know any other college team you'd rather bet the over no matter what the number is because they're going to put up points and they're going to give them up.
Yeah, I mean, overtime saved that over for sure because they were not close to the over-under until overtime.
No, for sure. Package, what do you have to say about USC and their defense?
You remember those old Westerns where the train track runs out? I think it might have been Back to the Future and it just goes off a cliff. Well, that's the Caleb Williams Heisman hype train is about to drop off a cliff. Not because he isn't the best player in college football. USC is an awful football team with a remarkable player at QB. They're about to embark on, they're going to lose 3 or 4 games. The college football playoffs, no chance. They're not going to win the Pac-12. I think they get throttle job by Notre Dame. But what's Penix going to do to him? What's Cameron Rising going to do to him? What's Bo Nix going to do to him? Look, Caleb Williams can only do so much, but I don't even think his weapons are that good on a big stage. I really don't. I think Lincoln Riley's done an awful job. At least they had Braylon Addison last year. Anyway, I don't think the weapons are near strong enough to compete against the best conference in football, which we've discussed on the show. The Pac-12 is where it's at, and USC, I think, is arguably maybe the 4th best team.
Yeah, no, and we'll definitely see, and we'll go into that game later on. But I think this Notre Dame game this week coming up is going to be a big sign for USC and the rest of the year for sure. I just wanted to touch on the Miami Georgia Tech game here. And not necessarily because any of us had any big plays on this game, but I don't know if y'all got to watch this. I had to go back when I saw this, what happened, just kind of looking at the ticker, and I had to go watch this on YouTube. Miami had the ball 3rd and whatever with less than 40 seconds left. Any coach in America knows you sit on it, game's over. And they run the ball, fumble, Georgia Tech gets the ball, goes down, needs a touchdown, gets it, and walk-off winner, right? So my question for you is, should Miami's coach be on the hot seat after this play? And there's a history of this going back to when they were Oregon a couple of years ago. Package, what did you think of this when you saw this pop up?
What do you say in the industry that we've all kind of worked in, and being the head guy, it always falls on you. My first question is, where are the other coaches? Somebody had to have put it. We all got earpieces and headphones. They all went to Cristobal and said, oh my God, he blew it. What about the offensive coordinator? What about the special teams coach? What about the guys in the booth? Somebody has to scream and go, kneel it, man. Where was everybody else? That's my question.
Yeah, and that's where KOB and I talked a little about today. Like, what
the
are
players too?
What are we teaching the quarterbacks? That's what we talked about. What are you teaching the quarterbacks? If you're the quarterback in that situation, how you not raise your hands and look and be like, "What are we doing?" And then just say, "Screw it, we're going to kneel it anyway, so we win." Like that's why I don't get KOB. Do you have anything to elaborate on that?
Somebody on the roster and the coaching staff, which you have to argue is probably 60 human beings.
Yeah.
And not one went, hey, man,
Maybe
think we
we
want to
should
kneel
do
this one? Nobody?
Yeah.
Oh.
They blew their season. Not that they had a chance for the college
Yeah.
football playoffs, but to go 5-0 and to lose like that, what a turn of events that was. Something you don't expect. And I saw something on Twitter somewhere. The dude had a last leg to pay like $200,000 on a parlay, Miami money line. What a way to lose that parlay.
Can't get a worse beat.
Boy.
The bad beat of all
Oh
time.
my God.
Yeah, that makes the Notre Dame 10 players, 2 plays in a row mishap look like child's play.
Yeah.
So,
I don't think we'll ever see something like. I mean, I personally have never seen that. There's a rumor that he did that when he was at Oregon. I just don't remember that happening.
The Oregon deal was a different deal because it was they needed there was less than like a minute and a half, and they needed to try to get a first down. They could have kneeled it on second and third down and punted it away with like 8 seconds left. He went for the first down and fumbled it. Yeah, and then same thing happened, but it was one of those weird deals. It wasn't the same, but it wasn't.
A one-score game. Because some coaches, now, this is the last thing I'll say, some coaches do run a couple plays when you couldn't kneel it. We've seen that before, but not in a one-score game when you have the lead. That never happens. And I don't think we might not ever see that in our lifetime.
It was unheard of and unfathomable to watch that unfold. I couldn't believe it. And
he is not on the hot seat though. He's resurrected the program. If the players will just accept his double bogey or quadruple bogey.
Yeah, and when I say hot seat, it's not to get fired. It is he deserves everything that comes at him this week coming in question-wise from the media for sure. My biggest thing was when I saw it, I didn't even know what the line was, so I was just making sure that didn't change anything for over-unders or whatnot. But then I just want to move on to gloss over a couple of games here from some ranked teams. We had number 23 LSU play 21 Missouri, come out with a victory 49-39. I know that.
Don't even get me started, Gator. Don't even get me started on this game.
Yeah.
Missouri +6 is leading the entire football game.
Yeah.
Money line, you're almost counting your tickets. All right, they go down 3. That's fine. Missouri loses the ball on downs. Whatever. They 3-and-out LSU with 40 seconds left. 40 seconds left, down 3, catching 6.
It's a winner.
It's a winner, yeah.
That's a winner. 30 seconds left. The quarterback decides to throw a little out route to the left to the running back behind the line of scrimmage. Totally misses. Guy scoops up and scores. I mean, I looked up. I was like, what just happened? Because I saw a score change 49-39. You want to talk about 2 bad beats in a row. Number 1, Miami. Number 2, Missouri +6. My gosh.
Yeah, no, definitely. But good news for you though is you had the over as one of your plays, and that was a winner for you.
I mean, it was a winner in the third quarter, but I like to go 2-0 instead of 1-1.
No, for
I'm
sure.
greedy.
The next game here, which to me was one of the sneakier plays I had, and I'll be honest, I forgot to send this to y'all when we came through. Was 13
right.
Washington playing UCLA. UCLA wins 25-17. And to me, whenever I saw this line out, it was one of those ones that jumped out with UCLA laying 3.5. Being unranked against Washington State. The under was 59.5. That was one of those ones I didn't really pay attention to that line. Honestly, it didn't jump out at first until I was sitting around and watched Saturday morning, football shows, and that started coming up to be a couple of the guys' plays that I follow, and just had to slide it in right before kickoff, and I just couldn't believe that being at 3.5 there. For UCLA, it was one of those weird lines where you just had to jump on it because it didn't make too much sense if you just look at the game.
Oh, crafty Gator! Oh, crafty Gator!
Yeah,
everybody likes him.
Yeah. All these winners.
I
didn't
get a call, Keith. I didn't get a call.
I did. Maybe he didn't pay his cell phone bill.
I apologize. I pulled the package from his Purdue play a few weeks ago. So don't worry about it. The next game was KOB's game of the week that he was looking forward to. I believe was the Alabama A&M game. Alabama covers the 2.5, the over at 45.5. Bama wins 26-20, which that game was a good game all the way through. KOB, you kind of called that one. The look for Texas A&M to potentially upset.
I have a great story about this one.
Let's hear it.
Me and Package were talking. I was like, this line looks so goofy. And he's like, dude, I agree. I go, I'm playing A&M. And he goes, well, I'll probably just play first half. That's all right.
I had to go to a wedding, so I just played first half.
Yeah. So we play A&M first half, and then winner they were 17-10,
Yeah, easy.
Yeah.
easy winner.
Max Johnson.
Log into another account expecting to lose because I played them both ways, and I went and looked. I was up in the green more than I thought, and I played Alabama game. So you want to talk about KOB being sharp? I pick A&M first half and Alabama to cover. That's pretty sharp action. You don't find that anywhere but the friendly wager.
You better
Can't
be
coach
careful,
that kind of
KOB.
talent.
That book,
Can't coach that kind of
Well,
talent,
no.
Gator.
he's got to be careful. His book might block him for being too sharp. He might stop taking his plays.
I've got a text about that.
You think what I said was, I'm not good. Yeah. All right. Whatever, KOB.
Great story.
The
Great story.
next
Good
game
game,
was the next game was the 10th ranked Notre Dame playing the 25th ranked Louisville, losing. Louisville wins 33-20. Louisville covers the plus 6.5 and under 53.5. This was probably, if you were to look at all the games, one of the more surprising upsets for the week, at least in my eyes. I was a Notre Dame believer. But y'all watch any of this game? You have any action on it that affect you in any way?
KOB, yeah, I was at the wedding. I was shocked. I was watching it on Yahoo and a little bit jarred. I'm a big Sam Hartman fan, and I really thought Notre Dame might make a run and try to backdoor the playoffs.
Yeah, I did
definitely
too.
play on a New Year's Six bowl game. And wow, to get throttle job by Louisville, who's got a good team. But I thought Notre Dame was kind of an upper echelon, and they laid an egg.
Yeah, I didn't watch too much of it. Maybe the latter bit of it. The real question I have here is Louisville that good?
Right.
And they might be. That was the first game that we really had an answer to.
Yep.
And so I mean they played Duke and Miami and Kentucky. Is that a strong enough strength of schedule to get them up there? Maybe if they went outright. But Louisville looks pretty solid.
Yeah. No, it was just one of those ones. I like Package said, I had Notre Dame as one of my top tier teams for sure coming into the year, and still thought so even after the Ohio State game. But
I did too.
Yeah, we'll see if they can come through. But with the 2 losses, they're done for the year, and they're just see what bowl game they can get into.
They'll get back on track against USC's defense.
Well, I hope so. And then the last game I was going to touch on was just the 24th ranked Fresno versus Wyoming. Wyoming wins 24-19, and they cover their 5.5 and the under 43 hit there. I had no action on this game. I didn't watch it, but just seeing a ranked team go down, figured we need to touch on it and go from there. Y'all have anything on that game?
Wyoming's scary about 2 to 3 games a year. That was one.
Yeah. They gave Texas a good run for a first. Yeah, right? They gave Texas a good run for a first half. So
no, they're scary a couple games.
Yeah. All right. Before we move into week 7, I just want to go over the current top 5 here. You have Georgia ranked 1, Michigan 2, Ohio State 3, Florida State 4, and Oklahoma making a huge jump to the 5th spot. Package, you agree with this current top 5, or would you have any of these teams kind of moved around? What are your thoughts right now in the current top 5?
I agree with the current top 5, but it's just, as college football is, I mean, no chance this remains by any stretch outside of Michigan. I think Michigan's the only team that's going to run the table. Yeah. So it's all going to come down to a lot of the conference championship games in those last couple of weeks of the year. But right now, top 5, hey, good for Oklahoma. Take a picture. You're going to stay there very long.
KOB, what are your thoughts on the current top 5?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to Michigan, their latter half of the schedule, playing Penn State and Ohio State, because I think they have a chance to lose in both those games, to be quite honest with y'all. And so, do I like Florida State up there in the top 5? No, I don't. They won't be there.
But they should be there.
Yeah, right now they should. Yeah.
They're going to stay there.
I mean, I guess.
But they should be there.
Sure. Yeah, they're up there. But
take a picture.
Yeah, I don't agree with it. But yes.
Yeah.
Are they the 4th best team in the nation? No.
Yeah. But now, they should be there for right now for sure. I think my 2 big things is I currently think Michigan's the best team in college football, and Georgia looked dominant. I mean, they didn't look dominant at all until playing Kentucky, and they looked like Georgia of old. But I just think Michigan's got the depth all the way through, and they can take over a game with just running the football, and their defense can get after you, and they're built to blow out teams, and they're built to win by a field goal, and they're a well-coached team. They don't make mistakes. I have them as my number 1 team. Georgia would be second. And then the only one, Oklahoma, jumping that far, I would rather probably like to see Oregon or Washington there. But, I mean, they're playing it this week, so we'll see what happens. And I'm sure the winner of that will probably jump them, would be my imagination.
It just sucks. We touched on this before, but it just sucks that the Pac-12 is going to be such an eliminator.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be a team with 2 losses in the Pac-12 that's not going to play in a New Year's Bowl game or part of the New Year's Six. That's probably going to be one of the top 10 teams in the country.
Yeah,
They're going to eliminate themselves possibly.
Yeah, this year for the Pac-12 is just 1 year too late. Next year, if this was a situation, it'd been amazing. You'd have had potentially 2 or maybe 3 teams into that playoff situation there.
Yeah.
All right, let's move.
The 5-0 Sooners, now 6-0, just beat the number 3 team in the country. They deserve to be top 5. Thank you.
Well, it's just they jumped up a lot of spots. I just think
I know
Oregon, Washington,
they deserve to be up.
Yeah, that's 6 for sure. But all right, let's move into to our Week 7 games. Just a touch over a few here. The big one for me is Oregon, Washington. Oregon's ranked number 8, Washington number 7. Washington is a 3-point favorite with the over/under 67.5. You don't have to commit to anything right now, but because kind of where are you leaning and what are you thinking for this game? Package?
I think both of these rosters are very evenly matched. Watching them throughout the year, which I've watched quite a few of their games, I think Penix is a better quarterback than Bo Nix. They're both great. That's tough to say, but I'm going to go with a better quarterback on this one and on their home. They're at Washington, correct?
Yeah, at Washington.
Yeah, I would say you're going to add the better quarterback at home.
Yeah, KOB, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm definitely fading the package there. After Bo Nix and the Oregon Ducks just absolutely throttled the Colorado Buffaloes, I'm a firm believer in the Oregon Ducks. I'm a firm believer in Bo Nix, and I'm a firm believer in them on the road. And so I'm right now taking Oregon Ducks. Their defense is a lot better.
Keaton's a closet home job for the Ducks. He likes Oregon a lot. So
Just wait.
Take that. That's about a 3 or
here
4 point skew because he's a homer.
I think it's the uniforms that he likes more,
He does. Yeah. They're very metro.
The style's on point.
Very metro.
Yeah.
Hey, dress well, play well.
Yeah. No, I personally like Washington in this game. Penix, I believe, is the same thing with you. But he's the better quarterback of the two. Nix does have command over this offense. I mean, he's been in college football for 6 or 7 years.
When's the last time Bo Nix won a huge showdown game?
Exactly, and if this is the year to do it, right? I mean, but he's definitely has command of that offense. But I think going to be a shootout, and I think it could be a potentially like very, very high scoring game. Both teams in the 40s plus. So I kind of lean in.
The Oregon Ducks won't let him score that much, but
they haven't faced a quarterback like Penix. And he's got a good little receiving core there. He can sling it all over the field. So
it's gonna be fun to watch.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's gonna be. That's gonna be the game to watch for sure. Yeah. And I think that game potentially got a ton of points scored. So it'll just be fun. Next game to touch on is 15th ranked Oregon State playing 18th ranked UCLA. Oregon State's a 3.5 point favorite over under 54. Any thoughts on this game, KOB?
Really no thoughts on this one. I like UCLA. I think Utah has a very good team. That's their only loss this year. Oregon State. When's the last time you heard of Oregon State being a relatively decent football program?
They're decent.
Not too often.
Yeah, they're middle of the range. They're grinders.
I said they shouldn't be ranked.
They're
in the
beige paint on the wall. You don't even notice. They're there. It's good nice paint.
They have a better record than Colorado, but they're just not a solid Pac-12 team. So I like UCLA.
All right. Package, what do you have on that?
I'm kind of vapor on this one. If we get some sharp action, I'll definitely play it. But I've got 4 games that I've got my eye on. We'll be watching USC Notre Dame while this game is going on.
Interruption alert.
Strohs to the ALCS.
Strohs. There we go.
ALCS, baby.
Final 12.
Easy.
There you go.
Easy.
Did that help any of y'all there? Do you have any action that left to play on that game that came in to help y'all out?
Just first 5 money line.
I had Stros for the game. Yes.
Oh,
the last 2 nights have been very lucrative with the Stros being plus money. Let me just tell you that, Gator.
We swept it. We got a little of our football money back with the Stros here last 2 nights. Right. But keep going, Gator, because I know you're going to get to a couple of these other games. But that'll be a game that'll be on the back button. But I think the USC Notre Dame will at that time slot is going to dominate the viewing.
Yeah, no, before we get to that game, the last one's just 25 ranked Miami playing the 12th ranked North Carolina Tar Heels. I love North Carolina here at -3.5. Over under 57.5. I'll stay away, but I think this is going to be a blowout by North Carolina. I'm a big North Carolina believer for this year. They're a very, very good team, well coached. They good old Mac Brown dialing it back to the early 2000s, just being great head coach. What do you got on that package?
I really, really, really like North Carolina. I love Drake May, big Mac Brown homer myself. I'm excited to watch this game to see how Miami responds to the debacle we just discussed.
Yeah,
and
that's the only worry. But
Van Dimes, Miami's got a roster. And I love their quarterback too. North Carolina hadn't really pulled away from anybody this year. I bet on him a few times. Drake May's looked good, but I don't think he's looked great. So is this kind of his time to really kind of get that Heisman wagon going? I don't know. Can Miami respond? I think there's some storylines here that's going to be really fun to watch.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I think North Carolina is just one of those teams that aren't going to, if you just look at the box score, you're not jumping out at you, but they just collect wins and they're moving forward. At 3.5, I think they can win handedly, but I think they can definitely get a touchdown, win by at least a touchdown. KOB, what are your thoughts on this game? Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a great ball game. I think it's going to be a back and forth kind of ball game. I think Tyler Van Dyke, Miami's quarterback, he's been pretty stellar this season, throwing almost 100 completions already, 12 touchdowns, not the brightest stat, but only 4 interceptions. And so he doesn't turn the ball over that much. And I think Miami's in a great spot to beat North Carolina.
Y'all seen his mother's jersey that says Van Dimes, right? Y'all know the story on this?
Yes.
They're like, your son Van Dimes. She goes, he throws dimes. Refer to him as Mr. Van Dimes. I love it. Go mom. Go mom.
And let's go into the last game we're going to touch here. Package has been all over this, which is 10th ranked USC playing number 21 ranked Notre Dame. Notre Dame's a 2.5 point favorite, over under 60.5. Package, take it away. What are your thoughts on this game? What are you playing?
Notre Dame gets back on track. Just doubling down on what I said earlier. I think USC is. I think they're pretenders. I really do. They played the weakest schedule in the country of any top team and barely escaped Arizona. I still think Notre Dame's roster. I know they laid an egg last week. I think they played a poor game, a la Texas, and so I expect them. And in front of touchdown Jesus to just lay the smack down on Caleb Williams on national television.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. And I think this is a game that Notre Dame's going to bounce back, kind of a get-right game. They always play USC tough no matter what the case is here in this game. And at 2.5, I really like it. And it's one of those ones where I thought there would be more money on USC just from the public looking at it. But it's pretty close to a 50-50 betting spread right now for money and total number of bets. KOB, what are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I mean, just one simple thing. If I was Caleb Williams and the USC Trojans team, I'm scared of Notre Dame's defense, and I'm just going to leave it at that. I think Notre Dame has a solid defense, and USC hasn't faced anything like that all season. It's going to be a great game to watch. I hope it's not a blowout. It might trend towards one, but I love Notre Dame in this spot.
And look, if USC doesn't have the scare last week, then this line's different one, and where the public's betting is going to be much different too. But I think that opened everybody's eyes to go, man, USC really struggled against an average teem, and they should have lost. So
yeah,
hey, Caleb Williams, Superman, he's the best player in college football, so you never know.
Yeah, no, I was just more shocked too because yes, USC had the scare, but Notre Dame lost. That's one of those ones where I was just thinking Pub was going to be on it, but 50-50 game. That's what Vegas wants, and we'll see what it looks like closer to kick for sure. All right, let's move into NFL here. Package, I know we can slide through this. I know you got to leave here soon, so we'll fly through a couple deals here. Bears, Commanders. Bears come out 40-20.
Let's not rush through this one. Let's not rush through the last Bears game on Thursday night. We can take some time here on old Justin Fields.
I'm sure you'll take up a lot of time, so we're not worried about it. Bears come out, beating the Commanders 40-20. Bears cover +6, over 44.5. This was a classic Thursday night pod call by KOB. Loving the Bears in the over. Great call. This is 2 weeks in a row that the Bears have looked better, and Justin Fields has thrown 8 touchdowns during this time. Is this what we should expect moving forward, package, from Justin Fields and the Bears, or are you still worried?
I'm scared to death. But it was really fun while it lasted. I guarantee you that. And I won both my fantasy games. Hey, I just swept the board in fantasy. This is the Justin Fields I was drafting a month ago. This is who I thought we'd see all year. Unfortunately, I think he's still too shaky in the pocket. He made some big throws, but overall, the way he scans the field, I'm definitely scared. I'm not sold.
KOB, what do you got?
As long as they leave DJ Moore wide open, I like the Bears. But if he's not, just Fields in trouble. That's his only go-to guy, and it's obvious. When Fields pops off, Moore pops off, and that's not kind of a team you want. I'll take the over. I told you both teams can score a lot of points, which they did. We're moving on to the next week against the Vikings. It'd be an interesting game to watch.
Come on, Justin. Just keep it going, man. Please. Come on.
Yeah, no, that was definitely a fun game to watch. And anytime you can get a high-scoring Thursday night game, that's a bonus for sure.
A sweat-free winner.
Yeah, absolutely. That's always the fun ones. All right, let's move into Sunday morning here. We had a game in London. Always fun to wake up and watch a little early morning football. We had the Jaguars taking on the Buffalo Bills here. Jaguars come out with a win, 25-20. They cover the 5.5, under 48.5. The Bills went from dominating the Dolphins the prior week to being dominated by the Jags. KOB, are you worried about the Bills at all? Or are we just chalking this up to being on the road in London against the good Jaguar team that was there the previous week that was kind of used to playing in London already?
Yeah, we're chalking this. The Bills are a solid team. They flew in Friday, had not even 2 days to prepare for the time difference, while Jacksonville's over there sipping wine and eating pizza over in Rome after they already won the first week. I played the Jags. I like the Jags in that scenario, being there and used to everything. I played the under. Jags in the under go 4-0 over in London. We'll take it. We'll take 4 W's and run with it, because I think if this is back in the States, Jacksonville stands no chance against Buffalo.
Package. Bills were hung over. Nobody needs to overreact. One game. Yeah. Jacksonville, they get a boost every time they go across the pond over there. One game, done and done. Buffalo's still a top 4 team in the NFL.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think Buffalo's still a team to be very scared of. They're dealing with a little bit of injuries on the defensive side of the ball, but when they're healthy, they're a scary team. They can shut you down and put up a ton of points.
Everybody plays hungover every now and again. Give them a break.
Yeah, they were backs against the wall going all the way to London, and Jacksonville's already there the week prior, and they're used to playing there, so they got kind of the recipe there.
Yeah.
All right, let's move into the Texans-Falcons. Falcons upset the Texans in my mind, 21-19. However, the Texans do cover the 2.5.
The two in the goob, the hook.
The hook was huge for sure. In the under 42. C.J. Stroud and Desmond Ridder both played pretty solid, good games there. I was impressed by C.J. being able to go down and lead a drive down the field for a go-ahead touchdown late in the fourth quarter. That's something I feel like we haven't seen in 3 or 4 years here in Houston.
We have.
But they let this game slip away, allowing the Falcons to drive down the field to kick the game-winning field goal. Package, in your mind, are the Texans still trending up, or is this a sign to worry a little bit with letting that late game score go in to win?
I took almost more out of the loss with what you just said on C.J. Stroud's game leading touchdown drive, and that was a big moment for the franchise and for CJ. So I took a lot out of this ball game. I watched every snap of this game. The Texans are fun to watch. If we don't lose Tank Dell, I think we win the game by 7 to 10 points. I think that really hurt us. So without his not clear-cut number 1 wide receiver, KOB, he still found a way to drive his team down for that go-ahead score. And I'm I'm on the bandwagon. I'll raise my hand. I was a little bit wrong. I said quite a bit wrong on CJ. I'm a fan. We are fun to watch, and we're going to win the division.
Yeah, CJ proved a lot. I was watching this game from my house for the most part of it, and then went and played a quick 9 holes just listening to it while we're playing. And whenever I had to stop and watch the drive that CJ was making going down the field and scoring, and once they scored, I kind of turned away. I hit a tee shot, went back and looked. It was 40 seconds left. Falcons have the ball. It's over. Next thing I know, I get to the green. I look up, and here comes a field goal to end the game. I was just shocked by it. KOB, what was your takeaway from it? Are you worried for the Texans, or were you taking this as a positive?
No, I mean, there's really nothing to be worried about, Gator. We came into this season expecting the lowest of lows, really, for the Houston Texans, and just get C.J. Stroud on his feet. I think he gave us a boost of confidence through the first 4 weeks of the NFL, and he showed he could be the franchise quarterback. Again, 0 interceptions this week, which is an unbelievable stat.
Yeah.
And I thought the
record.
Falcons were.
Did you see that?
Yeah,
It's a record.
he did break the record.
Rookie
yes.
record. Most pass attempts without a pick.
Yeah. And I thought the Falcons were a decent team coming into this season, especially adding Bijan Robinson to the roster. They're 3-0 at home, the Falcons are. And so to make it a close ball game, kudos to the Texans. Long season ahead, but very good drive for CJ and his mentality going forward.
We're fun to watch. We're fun to watch.
It is. It's fun to watch.
Finally.
It's fun to watch and to see a quarterback have command of this offense, which is awesome. And his numbers are great. I mean, I think he's third in passing yards already right now. And like we said, no interceptions, 7 touchdowns. He's looking good. And boy, has it been a big change from what he looked like in preseason. So I'm excited.
And week 1, yes.
Yeah, I'm excited. Texans are fun to watch. And we'll see how this goes moving forward. All right, real quick.
They're the best team in Texas now.
I want to touch on real quick. We'll go over. I want to touch on the Saints-Patriots game.
I'm not saying a word about this one. This is all packages for because he loves New England.
You got it. Saints absolutely blow out the Patriots 34-0. Saints cover the easy one in the hook here, under 38.5. Saints tried to hit the over on their own. They just came up a little short. In 2 weeks, the Patriots have been outscored 72-3 package. What's going on in New England? Is it a Mac Jones problem? Is it a Bill Belichick problem? What's going on?
It's a roster problem, and you could put the blame back on Bill Belichick. And I would really relate this to the 2009-10 Texas Longhorns with Mac Brown. I don't know if they got a little lazy in recruiting. I don't know if Bill's got a little lazy with his drafts. But New England has – I don't think there's a guy on their offense that could start for another team. And I watched every snap of that New Orleans game and every snap of the Dallas game. They've got no speed. They have no receivers. You can say Ramondre Stevenson's pretty good. Okay. He's a middle-tier running back. They have no weapons. And Mac Jones isn't good either. But they're the worst team in the NFL. I promise you, if they line up against the Arizona Cardinals on a neutral field, I'd take Dobbs. I'll take Josh Dobbs and Hollywood Brown. And I think Arizona's like, they're going to get Caleb Williams. I don't know if the Patriots are going to win 3 games. They're terrible. I wrote them. I didn't think Bill Belichick would get blown out 2 weeks in a row. I bet on Bill. I bet a lot of my bills on Bill. Not again. I'm out. Done.
Yeah. And
no comment, Garrison. Don't ask me. All I got to say is package calls because I got a hot take. Look out. Every bookie you got, just lay all your lumber on the Patriots. And
they're just not going to lose 2 in a row like that. They're just not.
Yeah.
Till they do.
You wouldn't think so for sure. And that's the thing, right? Like Belichick's got to take a little bit of the problem because he's the coach and GM, right? It's his roster that he's building there. And some of the thought is he clearly had the best quarterback of all time, right? On his team to where he could actually help build up some of these players. And now that he doesn't have that, we're actually finally seeing, is he able to build a actual roster? And it doesn't look good. And I don't know if it's just not wanting to change his ways to the way new age football's going with speed on the outside and throwing it everywhere. But definitely something's changed in New England, and we'll have to see if they can bounce back and get this train moving. But as a Jets fan, couldn't happen to a better organization struggling a little bit. So. All right, let's get in the game that most people were excited to watch, which was the San Francisco 49ers taking on the Dallas Cowboys. 49ers put an absolute butt whooping, 42-10, cover the 3.5, and the over 45. 49ers roll to a victory. My question for you, Package, is Brock Purdy an MVP candidate now?
100%. And let me tell you, last year, I think it's because he's the last player of the draft. I'll say this. If Purdy were drafted number 8 and came on last year, he wins Rookie of the Year. And then this year, everybody is sucking him off and saying, oh my gosh, MVP, Brock Purdy. But he's kind of a little guy, and he was drafted. He was the last pick in the draft. There was no hype wagon behind him. You watch the throws he makes, though. Does he have a great offense? Yes. But some of those throws, he's so cool, calm, and collected in the pocket. He's not afraid to throw it downfield, and he throws people open. I'm not a quarterback, but I've watched enough football. Those guys are guarded. Dak doesn't know how to throw anyone open. Brock Purdy does. Look out for the Niners. They could have dropped 50 if they wanted to on Sunday night.
Yeah, I think the big thing with Brock Purdy is a couple things. He doesn't have the sexy numbers, right? If you just look at his stat line, he's not going to jump out at you on paper. He's going to be, in that 8, 9, 10 range as far as every stat as you go through: passing yards, touchdowns. The big sexy stats that we're looking at. But if you just look at him, like you said, he throws people open. He's got a strong offense. It seems like he knows where to go with the ball before snap. And he just doesn't make those big mistakes when it comes down to crunch time in the games. They have this awesome defense going through. And I think the biggest knock that the naysayers on Brock Purdy is, well, it's the offense, it's the team. Anybody can go in their play. And we've seen that that's just not the case. It is not the case. You can't just plug and play anybody in there to put up the numbers and the wins that they're doing. KOB, are you a Brock Purdy believer? Is he an MVP candidate?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many times we have to talk about the 49ers because I hate bringing this up. But, yes, that first episode, I mean, I just ripped the 49ers. I couldn't be more wrong. Brock Purdy looks legit. 4 touchdowns against a team that I thought was going to be very good. Whether their offense struggles or not, I thought their defense was solid. They made that defense look horrible. Yeah. And so now I think I have to posture a question, are the Cowboys even that good? They lost to the Cardinals. We thought that was a fluke, came back and smoked the Patriots. We all know the Patriots aren't that good anymore. They beat the Jets and they beat the Giants, and the Giants aren't good. And so now I'm a little bit worried for the Dallas Cowboys in its whole entirety.
Yeah, I think the Cowboys, the big thing for me is, having Diggs hurt is it's proven to be a huge hurt for their defensive secondary. Gilmore's trying to pick up the load there, covering the number one receiver. And I think the big thing with the Cardinals game is they kind of had a blueprint on how to attack some of that defensive front with Parsons. You just run at him, right? You got to make it to where he can't fire off the ball and get to Purdy. And plus, San Francisco's offensive line is one of the best in the league. They have some big time talent there.
It was dominant. I'll tell you, looking at the Niners' schedule, most games they're going to lose is 2. I mean, 2, I think, if they stay healthy. You look at Dallas' schedule, I'm telling you, they got Chargers, Rams, and Philly. The Chargers, Rams, and Philly coming up the next 3. Dallas better look out, or they're going to be they're going to lose 3 in a row.
Yeah, no, I agree. And the Niners they look dominant. They're by far, to me, the best team in the NFL. Definitely. And the last thing I just want to touch on real quick is Keaton's favorite quarterback, Anthony Richardson, hurt again. This time it looks like it could potentially be for a couple weeks. I haven't seen anything today if we have a definite answer. But are the Colts in trouble with Anthony Richardson now being injured in 4 of the first 5 games this year, KOB?
I thought AR5 was the best quarterback draft pick anyone could have gotten. He's played like it through the 2.5 games he could play. And so that is a huge problem for the Indianapolis Colts front office, GM, decision makers. Now, if you had the Colts win total, I think you like a little bit more with Gardner Minshew back there. So, but we're looking at down the road and franchise quarterback. If you take away, you say, hey, Anthony Richardson, we don't want you to run the ball as much. We want you to stay a little bit more in the pocket, be a little bit more safe. Then you're taking away all his strong suits, which is the whole reason why you draft him. But you obviously can't stay healthy. And so that's a huge problem.
Bump in the road. He'll be fine. He's 6'5", 240. Couple
freak
injuries.
Like 4'8", 140.
Couple freaky little injuries. They need to work on how he gets hit and how he falls. Look, If Tua, after that shit show last year, if Tua can make it upright through the NFL, AR5 can too. They just need to kind of figure out where to use him, when he needs to run, and how he needs to get hit and fall. He'll be just fine. Gardner Minshew, best backup in the league. I think they'll clip a couple wins out. It's going to be Houston and Indy for the division title. See what happens. Exciting.
Yeah, I think just from go for it.
Sorry. Hey, Package, did you watch any of this game?
I watched every snap.
Did you see our boy Tajay Spears?
Tajay Spears, baby.
Hey, Gator,
little kind of fake reverse.
Yeah. Little question here. Do you know where college he played at?
Tulane. That's your boy. Green Wave.
I know. I was asking Gator.
Oh.
No one would know that. No one would know that. It was a hot take.
There you go.
He said that on the Pro Show a while back. But yes, I'm excited. I touched on this earlier in the year on the friendly wager here. But Houston and Indy, I hate to say it, Trevor Lawrence had all the fanfare, number one pick. He's going to be the third best quarterback in that division. But it's going to be AR5 and CJ Stroud here for the foreseeable future. I think we're going to have some mega showdowns with the Texans and Colts over the next 10 years.
Yeah, no, I agree. Anthony Richards has a bright future ahead if he can learn how to not take those big hits. I think your Josh Allen's are a rare breed, and Cam Newton there for a while too, right? He was the one taking big hits, and it eventually caught up to him. So we'll see if he can learn to slide when he needs to, and long if he can learn that, he's still looking up. But it is something to worry about, though.
He's got a rifle. He's got such a gun. Oh,
yeah. He's any field he jumps on, he's one of the best athletes on it for sure, no doubt. All right, let's jump in real quick. We'll fly through this power rankings package after week 5. Let's just do a quick roundtable discussion on who your top 5 teams are. I think it's easy to start at number 1. I'm going San Francisco 49ers. Anybody have anyone different than the 49ers?
No, that's an easy number 1.
All right, yeah, I agree. I think that's why we kind of start there. In the second spot, I still have the Philadelphia Eagles. At the end of the day, they are 5-0. Nothing's looked sexy about it, but winning games that you would think they'd blow out. But at the end of the day, it's the NFL. A win is a win. They're 5-0. They're my number 2 team package. Who's your number 2 team?
Miami. The Miami Dolphins are my number 2.
Oh, there we go.
The playoffs started today. I'm telling you, and Kansas City had to travel to Miami. Look, everybody's got all the money will be on the Chiefs, but I think Miami's when they got to get A-Chain back. But I think they have the most explosive offense in the NFL. I love Mike McDaniel, and if they stay healthy, which is a big if, the way they play offense, I've got them at 2 right now in my power rankings.
All right, KOB, who do you have?
Yeah, Kansas City Chiefs. I think their roster is still as solid as could be. Taking Pat Mahomes all day at quarterback to control that football game. I love the Kansas City Chiefs at number 2 right now.
All right. Interesting there. We're all different, which I love. All right, my number 3 team here. This is where I started thinking about a couple different teams that I can go with. I'm going to give to the edge to Miami basically off of how dominant their offense is, but their defense is a liability and it is scary. I just think they're so good on offense that they can keep up with anybody. They had their hiccup against the Bills. Bills are a great team early in the season. I think as they keep rolling, get healthy, Dolphins are a scary team. They're my number 3 team. Package, who do you have?
Miami's got to be at home. If they play Buffalo and Miami, it'd have been a different ball game. But they've got to get home field if they want to make a run to go to the Super Bowl. I don't know if they can travel to a cold city. Anyway, my number 3 is the Kansas City Chiefs. I'll follow KOB, Pat Mahomes. Everybody stays healthy. You can't have KC out of the top 3.
KOB, who's your 3?
It's got to be the Eagles as of right now, but I think I'm scared for their defense. Their offense is stellar. We all know that, but their defense doesn't look that solid, and I don't think it's good enough to win a championship.
Their offense hasn't looked as good as last year either. They're winning, but it's not as sexy.
They're putting up a lot of points. Their offense is not struggling.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to go to my number 4 team. This is where I have the Kansas City Chiefs slotted in. We know about Pat Mahomes. If you look at just pure stats, it's a down year for him. It is. We'll see how Kelsey bounces back off the ankle injury that he had this past week. I think he's still slated to start, but this team is different. If Kelsey's out of the lineup, we have seen that. But any years in the past 2 or 3 years, I think this is the year if you're going to get Kansas City and beat them, this is the year to do it. I don't think they're as dominant as they were in the years past. But they're my number 4 team. Package, who do you have?
They just have that championship swagger, though.
They
Pat
do.
Mahomes
They do.
they just figure it
Yeah.
out, right?
You just
They're
expect
not
them to be there.
dominant, but they just figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm putting Detroit to the Detroit Lions, led by Dan Campbell, in at number 4. I love this quote. If you're looking for us, you don't have to look very hard. We'll be on your front porch. Come on, baby. If you don't want to get fired up for Dan Campbell after saying something like that, I'm ready to go too. Jared Goff is serviceable. They have speed. They have players on the outside, and boy, they've got some moxie. If they lined up against Philly, neutral site, it's going to be a ball game. I've got them at number 4, slight edge over Philly at 5.
KOB?
Yeah, I've followed him and Dan Campbell, Lions at the 4 spot. I'm a big believer in Jared Goff. David Montgomery's not up and coming, but he's looked very stellar in that backfield. He's
got the lead role. He's
direct.
the lead man finally. And
He's a ball direct with on the goal line. They can punch it in. Huge fan of Amon-Ra St. Brown. Just a stud on the outer end. Can jump, catch, do whatever you would like. And so taking Detroit Lions at number 4.
There you go. Good pick, KOB. You're a smart guy.
I am. I'm a
smart guy.
My number 5 team is the Detroit Lions. I like everything about them. I think Goff is a underrated quarterback as far as what most people think. They go straight back to the bad days as a Ram. But the last couple of years, he's kind of proven he can win you football games. They have offensive weapons. I think their offensive line is a top offensive line. They're athletic. With Hutchinson, they can get after the passer. On some of these games, you can see they definitely can wreak havoc. But with Dan Campbell, how are you not a huge Lions fan? And you got to feel good for a franchise that has just absolutely struggled for decades upon decades. It's great to see them making a case to potentially be a Super Bowl contender. Package, who's your 5th team?
I'm slotting Philly in. They hadn't lost in forever. You have to have them in the top 5. Yes. I've never been a fan of Philly. I'm not a fan of Jalen Hurts. As a human being, yes. I keep saying I'm not sold on him as an NFL quarterback, but you really can't say that anymore. They've had a wonderful run, and they're going to make the playoffs, and it's going to come down to home field advantage. If they have to go on the road, I don't think they make the Super Bowl, but they're definitely one of the top 5 teams in the NFL.
KOB, who's your 5th team?
I am slotting the 3-2 Buffalo Bills ahead of the 4-1 Miami Dolphins. Okay. Buffalo Bills is my number 5 in the power rankings, strictly because I think the Bills have a fantastic offense and a fantastic defense. They have what it takes to win the championship, and just compare it to the matchup. They already played the Dolphins this year, and it wasn't even close. And so I like the Bills in the 5 spot over the Dolphins, if those are my last 2 choices, which I think was. So Buffalo Bills, number 5.
All right, there we go. We'll keep doing this kind of weekly and see how these change week to week.
That was fun, Gator. That was really good. Yeah. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, the great thing about the NFL, got to throw wrinkles in there for you every now and then.
Yeah.
All right, let's blast through this week 6
Cowboys,
here.
number 31.
I don't know. Bryce Young and the Panthers aren't too great either, but we'll see how that goes. All right, let's go into week 6 matchups here. Let's start off with Thursday night football. The Broncos coming down to Kansas City playing the Chiefs here. Chiefs are a 10.5 point favorite. The over-under's 47.5. Package, what are you thinking on this game? Are you leaning one way or the other? And let's go ahead and start this pod off here with some winners early for the Thursday night game.
Absolutely. Leaning Denver right now, gun to head. If the game was tipping in 5 minutes, I'm going to play Sean Payton. I think he's tired of getting embarrassed. This is his first crack on national television against the defending Super Bowl champions. He's going to come out with his best game plan possible with a not a very good roster, but I think he's going to pull out all the stops. And if they get blown out again, Russell Wilson, I think he will be riding the bench the rest of the year. This is Russell Wilson's last crack, and I'd expect some big plays to Jerry Jeudy. I think he's going to actually show up on Thursday night. Kelsey's going to be limited. I'm going to take the Broncos probably by the hook to 11.
KOB, go for it. I know you have stuff to say here.
I'm riding the Broncos 10.5. I like the goob there. That's a lot of points in the NFL. It's a little bit scary betting against the Chiefs at Arrowhead for sure. But to say Russell Wilson is on the hot seat, it's kind of hard to say that when you compare his stats to Patrick Mahomes. He has a better passer rating, 11 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. He's just taking too many sacks. He might not be able to move the ball. He's just getting sacked after sack. They need some help on the offensive line. Give him some time. I don't think Russell's quite out yet because he's played some very good football games.
His stats have come in trash time when they've been blown out. He's not. Watch it when it's actually a ball game. They go 3 and out right before Zach Wilson caught fire. He looked like Zach Wilson the first couple of weeks. Russell Wilson's done. His arm is shot. He can't move. Yeah. And I think he's exposed. He's not a top shelf quarterback. Let me tell you something. You call every NFL team and say, I'll give you Russell Wilson for free and he can come start for you. The only person that answers the phone is Bill Belichick.
And the Bears after they came back from down 20-something points. Yeah, your guy Justin Fields costed that game, and he's there was
a fumble return.
Wilson,
that wasn't all Russell.
3 touchdowns. Russell Wilson put him on the back and made Justin Fields look like his little. All right. Anyways,
Justin Fields is better than Russell Wilson. Sorry.
Well, yeah,
you would take Russell Wilson right now. You're starting your squad, and those are your only 2 options.
Franchise, yeah.
And those are your only 2 options. Not a franchise for the rest of this year. Just this year.
This year, I'm taking Russell Wilson over Justin Fields. Yes. Yep.
Well, we've heard it all now on the friendly wager, Gator.
Yeah.
Heard it all now.
Yeah. Unless you package Fields with DJ Moore, then I might tinker on that one.
I hope you're right. I'm going to gamble on this ass wagon on Thursday night. I hope you're right.
We are right. We're always right.
Yes.
Just thank me later.
What do you think, Gator? What's your take for Thursday?
I mean, it's one of those ones, right? We talked about this little pre-show. At 10.5 on a Thursday night, it's hard not to take those points. And it's one of those classic games to where you play Denver and it's a touchdown game. You look like an absolute genius. Oh, my God, no one thought you're so smart, you're so sharp. We're used to hearing that anyways, but it makes it look any better, right? The problem is would you be shocked if this game you came in and you saw 32-7? You wouldn't be shocked, and you look like an absolute idiot if you play the Broncos. However, it's Thursday night. There's a little stat I'll have to pull up later, but talking about how home field advantage this year in the NFL hasn't been there. I think I forgot what it was, but home or road dogs are hitting at like a 52 or 56% rate this year. It's never happened. It's never been seen. So knowing that trend, knowing it's Thursday night, it's 10.5 points. Chiefs struggle to cover their big spreads like this. I'm probably leaning towards the Broncos. Over under, I'll probably stay away from, but definitely leaning Broncos at 10.5 for sure right now going into that game. Yeah, we'll see what they have. I don't know, but am I shocked if they get blown out? No, but 10.5 points Thursday nights is a lot.
Kansas City's not going to blow anybody up.
Yeah, I don't think so either. All right, here we go. Let's go to the next game. 49ers taking on the Cleveland Browns here. 49ers are a 6.5 point favorite, over under 37.5. Very low over under there. Package, where are you leaning here? I know this is the one we talked about too. This line only opened at 1. Niners at -1. It's worked its way to 6.5. This is a line that's a little fishy to me. What are you thinking here?
I don't know what Vegas. I would ask Vegas what they were thinking when they set the line at 1, and I'm not sure what Cleveland's done to dictate having a pick'em game against the best team in the NFL, which makes me want to ride Cleveland hard because Vegas knows something that I have not seen through 5 games of the NFL season thus far. I'll say that. But right now, I'm riding Deshaun coming back. Who's going to run the ball though? How can they stay in this game?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones, right? Who is going to run the ball? I know they have Kareem Hunt, but there's a reason why nobody was trying to get him on their team coming into this season. Deshaun coming off the injury, he should be healthy. I think the big thing for the Browns going their way is coming off of a bye week. So had a week off, they had some rest, time to prepare. Hopefully everybody's healthy. I'm leaning Browns this way too. I think their defense can hopefully keep the Niners in check. I think Niners are due for they're going to have one or two of these games, right? Is this the week it's going to come? I think so. So I'm leaning Browns right now, catching 6.5. Over underline, probably leaning under. It's really low. So anytime I see a low under, I love playing it. But that's where I'm at. KOB, what are your thoughts? You have any feelings on this game?
Yeah, I mean, if this is my first football season to ever gamble, I look at this and I call a loan out and play it all over the Niners, and I just know better. You have to play Cleveland. It's one of those plays where you don't want to press submit. You kind of put a blindfold on and press submit, and you don't even want to watch the game either. You just want to see the final score because you think it's going to be a blowout. And so 40 Cleveland plus 6.5. Why would you play that? Which makes me want to play that.
This old guy, Rusty Harris, they called him the Gov out in East Texas. He told me my first year gambling, because I just played all the favorites. This is a perfect scenario where, oh my gosh, Vegas, what are you thinking? I'd load up on the Niners. And he grabbed me and goes, son, you got to pick them ugly ones if you want to win some money. This is as ugly as it gets on a line, with the Niners being so hot and Cleveland being, okay. Browns are the play. Might be the play of the week.
Yeah, it's one of those games, too, where if we didn't tell you the line coming in and you said, what is it at? You're given at least a touchdown, right? 7.5,
more.
8.5.
Yes.
It's 8.5.
Yeah. The fact that it's not a touchdown on the hook, to me, was alarm bells going off and seeing where we're at there. I think Browns are the play again, and it's just one of those ones. This is the line. It's either that you play the Browns or don't play it at all, and you just kind of go from there in my mind. If I played the Niners, knowing what we know, and they lost this game, you'd feel like an absolute idiot. And so I just can't do it. It goes against everything I believe in, so I can't do it.
Gotta stick to our guns, baby.
Yeah, I'm either playing the Browns or I'm not playing at all. That's kind of where I'm at on that game. All right, Texans are going down to New Orleans playing the Saints. Saints are 1.5.
Other way around.
Oh, is it the other way around? There you go. My notes.
They're in H-Town.
There we go. Cram these notes fast. So here we go. Texans are playing the Saints here in Houston. Saints are a 1.5-point favorite. Over under 42.5 KOB. What are you leaning on this game?
If you don't think I'm playing Derek Carr and the Saints, you're out of your mind. I am firing all over the Saints. I love the spot they're in right now. And so I know Package won't like it, CJ Stroud. I'm a firm believer in CJ. But I'm too much of a Derek Carr homer in the Saints, and I think they get another win under their belt.
Take it away, Package.
No, KOB, I agree. I mean, coming off that sensational victory over the dominant New England Patriots, how could you not play the Saints? Are you kidding me? There's only two things that are going to happen. All those Cajun idiots are going to invade Houston this weekend. You can't understand what the hell they say. That's one. And then they're going to turn their candy ass around and drive back to New Orleans, a loser, after the Texans drop the hammer on the overrated Derek Carr and returning Alvin Kamara. He's done. He's over the hill. Derek Carr's an average quarterback. CJ's ascending. Ride the Texans. One of my top 3 favorite plays.
And the over.
Package loves Texans and overs. We know that's a staple play for him for sure. This game is one that right now, if I had to pick, we're on the pod, we got to make a pick. I'm probably leaning Texans. Only because of hometown love and belief in CJ. Carr had an injury, didn't have a great week last week, threw for less than 200 yards. I know he had 2 touchdowns, but it was just kind of a game. I don't know how healthy he actually is, how bad that shoulder is. Clearly, they think he's better than Jameis Winston coming in and throwing.
Olave the only person on that team with any speed.
Yeah.
They don't have any speed.
Yeah, I know that's true too. It's just something didn't seem right for Derek Carr last week. Just the way throwing it looked like they were hiding something there for sure. And so I'm just not sold on it. If I had to pick something now, I would play Texans. Probably stay away
Will
from
Anderson's going to be
over-under.
cooking breakfast up in his kitchen too.
Yeah, and then over-under on this game, I'm staying away from. It's one of those ones that wouldn't shock me to be a 17-13 game or both teams scoring 21-28, something like that. So I'll probably stay away, but Texans right now I like catching 1.5. All right, here we go.
I'll see y'all on the flip side.
Hey, I could change my mind before kickoff. We'll have to see. But right now, that's where we're at.
we all know you well.
Oh, Derek Carr, I love you.
All right, next game real quick is the the Eagles taking on the New York Jets here. Eagles are only a touchdown favorite over under 41. This was another one of those lines that jumped out at me, only being at 7. Makes me want to play Zach Wilson and the Jets. And not only because I'm a homer, it just doesn't seem right. It's one of those goofy lines that you would think Philly would just be ranked higher up. And the thing that worries me, it's not because of Philly's vaunted offense. It's their defense in the Jets' offensive line and the ability to run the ball. I don't know if they're going to be able to against this defense. And it's going to be on Zach Wilson's arm, I think, for this game for sure. But being at 7, I'm leaning playing the Jets for sure, and probably taking the under as well at 41. I don't know how much scoring is going to be done in this game. Package, where are you at?
I just couldn't be more all over slinging bombs, banging moms. Zach Wilson going yard to Garrett Wilson. The snap count, it's like, oh, Forrest Gump when the braces come off. The snap count is off of Breece Hall. What'd he do? He runs for 172 yards. Are you kidding me? They got to get him worked in the screen. They got to get worked in the screen game just a little bit. Philly's overrated. The Jets are on the come up. Look out. A-Rod is doing some like scientific crap. He like went to the moon to get some work done on his Achilles. He'll be back for the playoffs. Zach Wilson's going to get him there. They start with upsetting the NFC defending champions. They win it outright. I might moneyline them.
KOB.
Sorry, Jalen.
The only way the Jets make the playoffs is if they trade for Kirk Cousins. Yes, I will. I think I have to ride with y'all too. +7 is not enough points. I know they're at home, but another goofy-ish line. Only
Body line.
I
didn't say
I might throw the Jets in a teaser just to get an extra 7 because I think that's about right for this line. I'll play Jets +7. I'll ride it.
All right, let's move into the final game we're going to cover is the Dallas Cowboys playing the Chargers here. Cowboys are a 2.5-point favorite, over under 50.5. I honestly have absolutely no idea on this game, one way or the other. The over under being that high could be a fun game. Probably play the over and just leave it alone on the line. Package, where are you at?
I think I'm with you. I'm so distraught. I don't think my soul can take another fire town at Dallas and then have the Chargers just rip my heart out and blow them out. I like the 50.5 number, and I don't know if it's really a play-around game. I do like that number. Chargers coming off of a bye. Eckler's healthy. He'll be back in the offense, very involved. Herbert's got weapons on the outside. Dak will respond, as he does against an average team. He's not upper echelon, but Dak will throw for 300. They're going to air it out a little bit. I think they're going to get Brandon Cooks a little bit more involved as well in the offense. So I like that 50.5 number. I'm going to hit it.
KOB?
I'm definitely riding the over. Love the over. That's way high for a primetime game. Gonna fire all over it. Might throw some team totes in there. Get some 3 units. The trifecta is what we like to call it.
But that's both team totes and the combined over. That's a trifecta.
Yes, that's the trifecta.
Arena.
If come game time, if we're up a ton of units, a couple units, I might fire on the Cowboys just to try and get some money back from last week. That's solely the only purpose I'm would.
Scared.
I would be too. I mean,
I'm scared.
It's the Cowboys with Dak Prescott. But yes, the over is about to play. I would only play right now.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat there. All right, guys, before we close out this, let's just go ahead and end with a little buy or sell. Either one of y'all want to go first here? KOB, Package, you care?
Package, you got
I'll
it.
go.
All
right, you know who I'm buying? I am buying the Texas Longhorn football program. That's who I'm buying. They're still going to the college football playoffs, led by the average Quinn Ewers, but with the best roster in college football this year. Sark's an average coach, kind of crappy. They have an average quarterback, and they're still going to the football playoffs. They're going to sweep the board and then lay the hammer down on Oklahoma in the Big 12 title game. I can't wait to see that. Those Sooners, they're a little cocky. Buying the Longhorns.
KOB, you got it, or want me to go?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still selling. I know I've already sold this player once, but I'm selling him again, and I think I proved my point. Devon A-Chain, he's sold. He's on the IR, can't stay healthy. He's too small. He's fast, but he's too small. And so if you have him on your fantasy team, just mark L's for the next 2, 3, 4 weeks. He might be able to score you some points to get you 2 wins, but it's a detriment for this year coming up.
He won't get hurt again. Nobody can touch him.
Well, he's going to get hurt again. He won't be able to stay healthy.
Yeah,
Hey, it's on the Friendly Wager Pod. Just listen.
Yeah, he got put in the IR, didn't he? Isn't he out for 4?
Yes.
Four
He's
weeks.
out.
Yeah.
Yep, he's out. And he's going to be out some more.
Averaging
If you had him on-
13 yards a carry.
Doesn't matter. If you listen, you need to trade him for someone very good who's healthy. And no one listened. So,
I'm on the A-Chain train.
well, he's stuck on your IR, so have fun.
We'll be back in late November.
Yeah. Well, leave it
Won't
to
make
KOB. We're still a young pod here, but KOB pulls the first ever
Double
2-time sell, double sell
Yes.
here.
I just want to make
Double
sure everyone heard me make sure everyone heard me the first time. If you didn't hear me the first time, you heard me the second time. All right.
All right, I'm going to go ahead. I was sitting here thinking about what I was going to do this week, and I was going to buy the Red River rivalry as being the best rivalry game that I look forward to every year. Then that got me thinking, you know what, I'm going to up the game a little bit here. And I am 100% buying this idea of the super conferences in college football. And here's why. If we can have a super conference in the SEC and the Big Ten, those are our top two. Just imagine the matchups that we could potentially have week in and week out in college football. We're talking Texas, Alabama, OU, Alabama. Texas and Georgia could be playing, OU and Georgia. We can now get the Texas and A&M rivalry going again. In the SEC, there's so many top matchups that we can see now going week in and week out. I'm a huge, huge fan of just thinking about the possibilities for college football. And we no longer have these dead weeks of, there's 4 or 5 good games, maybe. We'll see how it goes. So I'm buying this super conference idea. The Big Ten, I think, is going to be great. Same thing. We can get back to these old school rivalries and just week in and week out having something to look forward to and talk about. And I think it's going to make the college football playoff going to 12 teams as well even more interesting to see when you can have some of these two-loss teams make it in and potentially win the national title that we've never seen before. So I am 100% buying this super conference idea in college football. That is where I'm at.
Gator, you stole what I was going to say there at the end, and I'll tell you this, and you nailed it. They had to pair this with the football playoff expansion. You couldn't do the super conferences and have 4 teams get in.
Correct.
But with that paired with the expansion now, look, we get the big rivalries, the best games, and you can still get in with 2 losses. Let's get it on. And the playoffs are going to be even better. A lot of rematch possibilities. It's going to be over the top. I can't wait.
Yeah, I think the only negative potentially is if, depending on how all these conferences work out, could you potentially have a team see each other 3 times? That might be a negative. I don't know how that will work out, if it's a possibility, but if anything was to be negative about that, that's it. But I wouldn't be shocked in the first year or two you have a 2-loss team come in and win the national title. It wouldn't.
Who would argue if you had to see Texas, Oklahoma 3 times in a year?
Right. Yeah.
I'm in.
No, for sure. Yeah, I think the only time you get an argument is if you get the Alabama LSU from 10 years ago, the 7-3 game.
Yeah,
that would suck.
More games to go through. I get what you're saying, but I agree with everything you said on your buy. I think that is beautifully said.
Yeah.
So it'll be there for sure. All right, Package, I know you need to get out of here. So before we take off, don't forget to follow us on socials for your winners. Weekly here on Instagram and X. We will post those on Saturday mornings and Sunday mornings. Keep an eye out on that. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode of The Friendly Wager. Don't forget to hit that like and comment and subscribe here on the YouTube. We're going to the moon, boys. We're going to win y'all a little bit of money.
You know what time it is, Gator?
What is it?
It's time for some winners. Came out.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy this ride. Win a little bit of money this week. We will see y'all next week, same day, same time on The Friendly Wager, the place where betting leads to bonding. See ya.
See ya.